Welcome to another edition of the BFT chart with me, Norvan Acquah Hayford. Our guest for today is the South African High Commissioner to Ghana, and she'll be speaking to us concerning their Freedom Day, which is coming up. Thank you very much, Madam Ambassador, for joining us on the BFT chart.
Thank you, sir.
We're here basically, your National Day is coming up, and we want to understand National Day for South Africans. How is that so important to you as a people?
Well, our National Day is a very important day because it is the day when we defeated apartheid in South Africa after centuries of colonialism and apartheid regime. We were able to go for free and fair elections in April 1994, on the 27th of April to be exact, 1994, which is the day that we call our Freedom Day. In South Africa, we have commemorated this every year since 1994. So this year we're commemorating the 23rd anniversary of our freedom on the 27th, and all over the world we will be celebrating the achievements and also remembering those that have sacrificed with their lives for us to be free.
Even before we go into certain areas, I want to know from you that in South Africa, what are some of the key things that are done on this particular day?
In South Africa, there are various activities that are done in all our 9 provinces, but there is always a special national event that is hosted by President Jacob Zuma, and we move from different provinces to remember our day so that we can go and be near to the people. So this year, National Day will be celebrated in KwaZulu-Natal, and the President will be there to address that day. And we have all our ministers, our members of parliament, the diplomatic corps, business people, and ordinary South Africans and communities will be there to celebrate our achievements in the past 23 years.
Now, in Ghana, you will be commemorating the day here as well with your community and Ghanaians at large. And what has really interested me is the theme that you have chosen to celebrate this in Ghana. You say South Africa and Ghana, a partnership towards growth. Why this theme?
Well, we believe our relationship with Ghana has grown from strength to strength. It actually started way back in the difficult years of apartheid. As you will know, the founding president of Ghana, Dr. Nkrumah, was in the forefront of fighting against colonialism and fighting for freedom for all the colonies of Africa. And South Africa was probably the last colony where we were still governed under apartheid, and Dr. Nkrumah and many other leaders, African leaders, when they formed the Organization for African Unity, they said, as he put it, the liberation of all the countries of Africa will be their priority. And as a result of that, we have this strong relationship with Ghana and many other countries, especially African countries. Therefore, in 1994, when Nelson Mandela was elected the first black president of a free and democratic South Africa, one of the first diplomatic missions that he opened was in Ghana. And we have had these relationships. We started in 1994, and that has grown from strength to strength, not only great relationships, government to government, but also business to business and people to people. Right now, our government has a joint commission for cooperation which is a permanent commission under the two ministers of foreign affairs of South Africa and Ghana. Last year in May, our Minister of Foreign Affairs was here and met with your Minister of Foreign Affairs to look at a number of MOUs, over 7 of them that have been signed by our ministries, and to actually review the actions that have been taken, the projects that have been initiated, and to make sure that we strengthen that cooperation and prioritize and fast-track implementation of the plans that have been put under those agreements.
Yeah, before we even go to the bilateral relations and the trade side and all that, I want to just, something that baffles my mind a lot. Nelson Mandela, as you mentioned, the first black president and the democratic South Africa. Would you say that the freedom of South Africa was centered around him, or he was pivotal in ensuring that the people of South Africa got their freedom from apartheid?
Well, he was one of our leaders. As here in Ghana, you had many leaders that had fought against colonialism, but he's one of those leaders. But because of his leadership credentials and also the fact that he had sacrificed his life with many others like Sisulu, Walter Sisulu, Governor Mbeki, Kathrada, Ahmed Kathrada, a number of his comrades who went to Robben Island for almost 30 years, sacrificed their youth, their lives, their families. We were able, also because of his leadership, to be united as a nation. We're united when we were campaigning against apartheid. We're able to unite and call for his freedom from jail, and in doing so, we're able to free all other political parties, political prisoners, but also we were calling for the return of all those that were in exile. Whether they were in Ghana, they were in Zambia, they were in London, they were in Tanzania, Uganda, all of them were able to come back home when Nelson Mandela was free. And the real negotiations for freedom started, and also we were able then to be led by the ANC government at that time. We were led towards the first national, democratic, non-racial, non-sexist election in South Africa.
ANC has been in power, since your independence, let me put it that way.
Yes.
Some say that, look, ANC is, the South African state is almost becoming like a one-party state. Would you agree to that?
I would not agree. You know, we have a very vibrant opposition in South Africa. Even in parliament, they argue, they fight, they say everything, even against the president. But unlike under apartheid or a dictatorship, as you say, people can't say anything against their government. They go to jail. Newspapers don't write anything against the government. They are banned. In South Africa, they say everything. They are still free tomorrow, and the president will answer or the government will answer, but they will still be free. People are marching in the streets and demanding water, demanding electricity, demanding jobs. Nobody goes to jail for that. So I think South Africa is a very dynamic democracy. Our people indeed are enjoying freedom and their human rights are respected.
Very well. What exactly should we be expecting when you commemorate that day in Ghana from the embassy here?
Well, in Ghana, we will commemorate this day on Friday, the 28th. We have invited ministers, members of parliament. We have invited our diplomatic corps colleagues. We have also invited the business community and South Africans who live in Ghana. We have many South Africans that live in Ghana. So it will be a South African day, but it will also be a Ghanaian day because Ghanaians will be there to enjoy our culture, to also share on our history and the cooperation that we have had in the past 23 years between our two countries.
In 23 years, Madam Ambassador, we want to find out from you, what would be your assessment of the bilateral relations between the two countries?
I would say that our relations are very good. We have, as I said, we started 23 years ago under President Nelson Mandela. Today, those relationships have grown strong, from strength to strength. We have this permanent joint commission for cooperation. We have a number of MOUs that have been signed. The last one was signed a few weeks ago by Minister Boateng, the Minister of Environment, which is an agreement between our Minister of Environment at Namulewa and your Minister, Minister Boateng, to cooperate in the area of environment. And we have a number of projects that have been started. The SKA, which is a very important scientific project that has been initiated between Ghana and South Africa. It was started by South Africa when they won the bid to host the SKA, and they appointed 10 countries, and Ghana is one of those 10 countries.
Must be lucky then.
But I must say Ghana is the most advanced because you are ready to launch. The project is up and coming. We have had a number of students that have gone to UCT, are studying for their PhDs. One of them, Bernard, is here already. He's running the project himself. He has qualified with his PhD from UCT. There are 3 others that are still studying for their PhDs, will be part of this project, and others doing MAs. On the 20th of April, there was a training program that was jointly hosted by South Africa and the United Kingdom to train these young scientists. There were 15 from Ghana and 10 from Kenya. Kenya is one of the countries that is part of the 10, part of this important project. This is one of the most important scientific projects in the world. We have other projects like in mining. We have a number of about 5 shopping malls that have been built by South African construction company, Atterbury and WBHO. We have the new one, the biggest mall that has been built in Kumasi, that was opened now on the 20th of April. Very beautiful mall. The king is very proud of that mall. And we're looking at opening more projects in Ghana and looking at other provinces as well in the north and so on. We have MTN, which is the number 1 telecommunications company here in South Africa. We have Anglo Gold, and they are doing very well in mining. Right now in Obuasi, they are going to give part of their facilities to the University of Kwame Nkrumah to develop a medical school, to develop a school of science and technology. And they have a school that they built which benefits not just the mine staff, but also the community. 90% of the community children are going to that school. They have a hospital, you must go and see, in Obuasi. It's a top class, I think it's number 2.
Been there before.
You've been there?
Top class,
They have all the facilities, all the equipment there. And we also have, I've talked about MTN, MultiChoice. All these companies are employing Ghanaians, giving jobs from the CEO down. Anglo, you go to Gold House, is a Ghanaian. Exactly. You know Asante, Mr. Asante, MTN is a Ghanaian. And everybody right down to the super is a Ghanaian. You go to ShopRite, maybe there are 3-4 South Africans, the rest are Ghanaians, all over the malls.
You seem to be creating a lot of job for us. You
Yeah.
know, when we look at trade volumes, but one will ask, how has Ghana also taken advantage of this, Ghanaian businesses also penetrating your market? Because your companies seem to have done very well, created all the jobs that we need as this country. But one of the key things that we look out for when it comes to investments and trade opportunities is for a Ghanaian company also to be able to survive in your environment.
One of the first companies that was a joint venture between Ghana and South Africa is the Anglo Gold Ashanti that you mentioned, and it's still operational even now. And I must say, in the past year, from February to December, the Obuasi mine was attacked by Kalamsi and could not operate, and there was a lot of damage. Over 500 holes were dug, and people even died in that process. But we thank the new government, which is now really serious about fighting illegal miners and ensuring there is law and order in the mining communities. So we really appreciate that. But there are also other opportunities. We, in the South African High Commission, we are working very closely. We have the Ghana South Africa Chamber of Commerce, which is very active in Ghana, and they are at the moment planning to go to South Africa on a mission, trade mission, and the Ghana Investment Promotion is also going with them. I hope to be part of that. And we are going to host them in the Gauteng province. You know, it's our biggest economic engine of the country, probably of the continent. 30% of our GDP is based in Gauteng, which is about 10% of the continent's GDP. And then they will be going to KwaZulu-Natal and spending 2 days in Gauteng, about 2 days in KwaZulu-Natal, and 2 days in Cape Town, the Western Cape. So they will be hosted by our agencies, counterparts of the GPIS, IC, who will be exposing them, taking them to sites for projects, for business opportunities, and we are hoping a lot will come out of that. We already have a number of joint ventures. Enterprise is partnering with Sanlam in South Africa. Those are big companies. We also have some Ghanaians who have steel companies in South Africa. We have a number of companies from Ghana who are doing construction. We have Ghanaians who have built schools in South Africa and are running those schools in South Africa and are doing very well. Of course, women are also doing, Ghanaian women, they are sewing our dresses. They're doing very well with the hair and beauty salons. They have quite a number in South Africa. So, but we're hoping with this mission, we'll be able to get more investments from Ghana to South Africa.
Very well. I mean, just before I move to my next question, the Galamsey issue, I mean, I heard you talk about the fact that you are happy to see this government, try its best to fight it.
Yes.
Do they have your support to ensure that we flush out these people who are not only destroying the environment, our water bodies, and are not doing the right thing?
That's my biggest worry. That's why we are even working, as I said, with Minister Boateng. We were working also with the Minister of Lands, Minister?
Yeah, Peter Lands and Natural Resources.
Yes, exactly, lands, to ensure that this important country is not destroyed. This beautiful country. If you go to Kumasi, you go to Buasi Western region, you'll find all these things that have holes that have been left there open, and what it does to the water is unimaginable. Children are exposed to these holes. Some will actually be injured, can even lose their lives, not only children, but ordinary Ghanaians. The water body, as you said, is polluted with poisons, because in the mines they use poisons. And if people are not trained, and if people don't know how to handle these chemicals, then they end up sinking down through or going into our rivers, into the sea. The fish are exposed, our water bodies are exposed, our young people, everybody, the community is exposed. You can get all sorts of diseases from the chemicals that are used. So I think it is very important. I'm very happy to see the government actually take up this issue and take up a campaign that is going to end the scourge of illegal mining in Ghana.
Very well. Now, let's see.
And we definitely give our support, and we'll do all we can to ensure that we give support and we share experiences. We also have illegal mining in South Africa, but our police are very vigilant when it comes to that, to ensure that whoever is involved is taken to book.
Let's look at, the relationship between the two countries. Under your tenure, how do you intend to deepen the relationship that you have with Ghana?
Mm-hmm. Well, our intention, as I said earlier, is to ensure the implementation of the MOUs that have been signed between our two governments. For instance, the SKA that I was talking about is part of the project implementation of those agreements. But we are also looking at the area of agriculture and agri-processing, which we believe there is a huge opportunity for Ghana. And also South Africa depends on agriculture as a major contributor to our economy. And we think Ghana has an opportunity to actually become the breadbasket of this region, looking at your climate, looking at your soils, the water, amount of water that you have in this country. So we are talking to our Department of Agriculture, and we're talking also to the Ministry of Agriculture. We have an MOU that we would like our two ministers of agriculture to sign.
In the area of one district, one factory?
In the area of agriculture.
Or food planting?
Yeah,
for jobs.
Food production.
Okay.
Yes, for jobs. And also towards food security, but also looking at commercial agriculture for export. That is job creation as well. So we are looking at cooperating in those areas, but we are also looking at manufacturing. How do we grow the manufacturing sector in Ghana?
That's where the one district, one factory.
One district, one factory coming in. And we will be inviting more companies to come to Ghana, but also not just big companies, but also small businesses that can partner with Ghanaians in the area of one district, one factory. Yeah.
I see. Now, when it comes to trade volumes, these are the things that interest people. Are you able to share with us what the current volume of trade between Ghana and South Africa is?
Well, at the moment, we are at 4.3 billion of trade between Ghana and South Africa. I think that is rands, which is about $1 billion plus, over $1 billion between the two countries. That also is mostly exports from South Africa. We do have imports from Ghana, but because of the low production of oil, 2 years ago, Ghana was benefiting out of this trade. But right now, because there has been less production in terms of oil, South Africa was importing a lot of oil and petrochemicals products from Ghana. That has come down, and therefore the trade is biased towards South Africa. But I'm sure as the oil prices pick up and as Ghana produces more oil, I'm sure again you will be beating us, because Ghana was one of two countries that were beating us in the trade balance. That was Nigeria, number one, and Ghana was number two. But now Ghana has come down because of the oil production, lowering the oil production, the low oil prices as well that have hit a number of oil-producing countries.
Would you say that African countries should rather trade among themselves more than to want to look at the Western world?
I think that is important because this is what our heads of state in the African Union have prioritized in Vision 2063. They are saying we need to focus in intra-Africa trade because like South Africa, we come here as partners. We don't come here to take and go away. I know of countries, but off the record,
Sure.
they come to our countries, they bring their money, they bring their people, their engineers, their managers, their everything, brickmaker, what do you call them? A plumber, electrician, everything is a package. It all comes with the assistance that we are supposed to get or donation that we're supposed to get. But at the end of the day, all that money goes where? Home. Even ordinary workers, they come from these countries. So that the money that they say they are giving to us, it actually is exported back home. So as South Africa, we believe South Africa cannot be successful alone in a sea of poverty on the continent. We need to partner with our brothers and sisters and ensure that we grow together. That is why we're saying, whether it's MTN, SAA, Anglo Gold, whatever companies here, let us partner with Ghanaians. Let us transfer skills to Ghanaians and technology to Ghana so that the country also can develop and can be able to stand on its own. So I think that is the view, or that is the understanding that our heads of state have when they say we must prioritize intra-Africa trade, so that our resources are not just taken and we don't benefit out of that. Like our oil will just be taken and it goes to another country, it comes processed, and we pay so much, an arm and a leg. The oil that comes from here, the cocoa that comes from Ghana, they take it to Europe, it comes back as chocolate, we pay so much. We must build our own chocolate factories in Ghana. We must build our own refactories, oil refineries in Ghana, our gold refineries in Ghana, so that we can sell a finished product. So unless we come together as African countries, no one will do that for us, except Africans doing it for themselves.
Ambassador, very finally, where do you see the relationship between Ghana and South Africa in the next 5 years? What's your projection?
Well, as the South African government, even our companies, we see Ghana as a hub for the West Africa region. Ghana has a track record of peace and stability for the past 25 years. And therefore, Ghana has the capacity to attract a lot of investment. And so we believe Ghana will grow and will be one of the leading economies on the African continent. And I'm sure in 5 years' time, if we maintain the peace and stability and create a conducive environment for investments and for economic development in this country, I think the sky is the limit for Ghana. No, it's not a joke. Ghana has great opportunities for its people, and I hope the government, which I see is very serious about economic development and empowerment for the people of Ghana, will succeed in the next 5 years to put Ghana up there. And I'm hopeful also South Africa. We have had our own economic challenges, like Ghana. Our commodities have come down, gold, diamonds, and so on. But I think now prices are picking up, and I think by planning properly, we'll be able to move up together and grow the economies, not only for our countries, but for Africa as a whole. I think Africa is the only continent that has the opportunity to grow. and also space for development. And also we are blessed with young people like yourselves here. We are very few us who are growing old. The majority are young people, and we can actually carry other continents. Our only challenge now, our governments must make sure that education, training, skills are a priority.
Thank you very much
For our young
Ambassador.
people.
I'm so grateful for coming on the BFT chat today.
Thank you.
That's how we end another edition of the BNFT chat with me, Norvan Acquah Hayford. We've been speaking about the Freedom Day of South Africa, and my guest has been the High Commissioner from South Africa to Ghana, Lulama Xingwana. Join us again next time, where we'll be looking at issues concerning Ghana and all the things with regards to our economy. Goodbye.